So this vehicle came to my shop because it's not pulling, and I'm scanning the system to see the actual fault. So what I'll do is I'll erase all the fault code. One intake performance issue, intake. So when you see most of this low intake temperature sensor circuit low, and you see table charge circuit low, then you see circuit low, it could be either a fuse or something, so or a voltage, because so far as it's showing me the reference voltage B circuit is out of range, and you can see throttle position circuit low. So what I'll do now is I'll check the fuses, because I'm having too much low circuit in the system. So I'll check the fuses and see which one is blown first. But first of all, I'll erase all the fault code, and then I'll see the remaining one. Erase all the fault code. So let me go back and check the remaining one. So this sensor voltage reference circuit low B. So let me turn off the ignition and turn it back on. It could be that the reference voltage, which is low, is causing all those sensors to malfunction. So I'll check my wiring diagram and see the real issue. So let me check. After cycling the ignition, let me check it again. Okay, so it's still that fault. Let me go back and check. Key on. And check it and see which of the sensors will be reporting. So with this one, the vehicle will be testing all the electrical components on the system and see which one is faulty. So after checking all of them, now you can see the reference voltage, the air condition, refrigerant temperature sensor, the table charge boost, and the crankcase are all reporting low. So I'll check my wiring diagram and see the actual problem with this vehicle. So erase it again. Or maybe I'll go for a try also, then see if all of them will come up again. So now after a try, I would like to check and see the fault code I'll be getting in the control unit. So read. After erasing the old fault code, I want to see the fault code I'll be getting in the control unit. If it is the same thing, then I know I'm attacking the reference voltage for the system. So you can see intake temperature sensor low, table boost sensor low, crank pressure sensor low, then refrigerant low, then sensor reference voltage. So I'll check that one and see, and all these ones are low. So it could be that it's missing 5-volt reference or something. So I'll check that one. So now what I'll do is go back and go to live data, so that I'll see if I can find any sensor reference voltage and check if there is an issue with the sensor reference voltage. Then from there I can go to the sensors each by each and check the 5-volt reference voltage at the sensor and see if they are working. So if they are working, then I'll know where to attack. If they are not, then I'll know what to do next. So now you can see that the AC voltage is 0, The AC voltage is 0, the AC pressure voltage is 0 as the vehicle is reporting. So I'll check the AC pressure voltage also. Then I'll check the other reference voltages and see which of them is 0. Then I'll know what to do from there. The ambient temperature sensor is reading. So let me keep on checking. So this is and this is the pressure. The crankcase pressure is also 0. So I'll go to the sensors and check the voltages on them. Then I'll know what to do from there. So these are some of the voltages that I've checked, and these two voltages are not coming, and this voltage is still at where it is. So what I'll do now is I'll go and measure the voltage from the sensors themselves and see, because normally for those sensors I should have power, ground and signal. So let me go, I'll go and measure the voltages on those sensors, then I'll see which one will rectify the issue. So I have the sensor and I've erased all the fault code, and it's only this fault code that's remaining. So I'll erase it again and start the vehicle, then go for test. Or before I'll go for test, let me run key on engine running diagnosis and see the results that I'll be getting. So after measuring the first time, come back to measure it again, and on the high pressure sensor you can see I'm getting 5 volts. Then the second one I'm getting 0.042 millivolts. That means I'm not getting up to. And this one I'm also getting 5 volts. So this one has the barometer in it and also has the map sensor. So I think both of them. So now I'm having issue with my reference voltage. So when I test the reference voltage according to the wiring diagram, it's supposed to be pin 2, but now when I test it, I'm getting ground on that reference voltage. So you can see I'm getting ground on that reference voltage. So now let me move to this one also, as it is reporting about this. Let me check this one also. So this one, I checked this pin and it is 0.00 volt. I checked this pin and it's also 0. And I checked this one and it is almost 6 volts. So now let me see if my test light can able to shoot it to 12 volts. So when it shoots it to 12 volts, that tells me that is a signal line, because when you shoot it to 12 volts, when I change it to ground, when I change my test light lead to ground, it will take it to 0 volts. So when I test my test light to ground, it will take it to 0 volts. That tells me that is a signal line. So that means I'm missing the 5 volt reference which the system is reporting, and that 5 volt reference is short to ground, because on this pin that I'm getting 0.1. When I test it here also, I'll get my test light turns on. When I test it on this side also, my test light also turns on. So now I have to find for the sensor which is shorting to ground, which is causing that issue. So that tells me that the reference voltage is being short to ground. So I think when I found it, because they share the same reference voltage, when I checked the wiring diagram, and they share it with the AC, so I have to locate the AC sensor, AC pressure sensor also, then I'll know what to do from there. Location of the pressure transducer, the sensor over there. So let me take it out. That's the sensor over there. It's over there. So I'll take the socket out and test it to see if anything is short to ground again. Now what I'll do is I've connected it to ground. So I'll try and play with the AC switch over there. It's at a tight spot so you can't see it. So I'll try and pull it away from the body ground and see if the beeping noise will go. If it goes off, that means that's where the problem is coming from. Able to locate the sensor, and you can see I've pulled it away from the body ground, and that yellow and green wire is totally flat. So I'll take it out and check if my 5 volt has returned. So now after pulling the fuel pressure sensor away from the thing, now I'm getting my 5 volt on that wire. And also let me test on this pin 2 also if I'll get the same 5 volt on pin 2, and it is 5 volt, and voila. So it was the AC. So now it was the AC pressure sensor which was drawing the whole voltage to ground. So now I have everything. I'll fix everything and go for try. Then I'll call it a fix, because thank God. So now let me fix it back and fix my pressure sensor back. And now let me go into the car, start the vehicle, or before I start it, I'll erase the fault code and see if everything goes off. Do is thank God I've been able to identify the issue. So now I'll cycle the ignition. I'll fix all the necessary sensors apart from the pressure transducer, which I know is supposed not to work or supposed to work. So what I'll do is go to diagnosis, go to control unit, and go to PCM. Then check if I'll be having that reference voltage issue again. So let me check my reference voltage. It will still be there because I've not erased the fault code. But the moment I erase the fault code, everything is supposed to be okay. And I'll go for a try and see the fault code that will be coming up again. Then I'll know what to tell the client about the sensor. Wow, I've spent more than 3-4 hours on this vehicle because I wanted to identify the issue. So now my main problem is I should have this sensor reference voltage B circuit out from the system. So now let me go back and erase the fault code. It should go first. If you erase all the fault code, it will left with only that one. So now let me cycle the ignition and let me go and read it again and see if I'll have that fault code. If that fault code is gone, hallelujah to the Lord, there is no fault code. So now that means it was the AC pressure transducer which was attached to the body, and it caused that problem. So what I'll do now is I'll start the vehicle and run it and go for try and see if the issue will be done. Or now even let me try this one and see the issues that will come up. So after the scan, there is no fault in the system. So there is no fault in the system. So I'll go for try and come back. And now let me check my sensors, like the pressure transducer. I know it shouldn't be working. If it is working, thank God, but I have to take the socket out and rework on it because of the way it is. So now you can see my pressure transducer is even working. And let me check the crank. Let me check the crank also and see the voltage I'll be getting. Charge, everything's supposed to be okay now. So the crank, and you can see now I'm having 5 volt on the crank pressure. So now everything is working. Okay, so let me go for try and come back. After fixing the whole problem, now a different issue has just popped up when I went for try the vehicle. So this fault code that you are seeing has been dealt with already. So all these ones are permanent because after a drive cycle they will all go off. But this is the new fault code that is coming up. Fuel pressure too low. So what I'll do now is go to live data and check my fuel pressure. I'm using the OBD side of the scan tool. So I'll go to fuel pressure and check, and this is my fuel pressure. Let me go to PSI. So you can see it in PSI, which is very low. So the moment I cycle the ignition, you can see how high they went. So with this one, I can start the vehicle and check why they are reporting fuel pressure sensor too low, and see if it will run to the maximum, the normal fuel pressure temperature that needed. So I'll do that. Let me start it now. You see it's having difficult starting, and it's not able to get to that amount, because I know for the fuel pressure supposed to be around 3000, and now it's around 250. So that means the fuel pressure is low. The fuel pressure is low. Even when you accelerate it, this is where it gets to. But one thing I don't know is okay, yeah, the sensor is on top of the fuel pressure rate. So I'll try it again and see the feedback that I'll be getting from it. If I'll still be getting the fuel pressure issue, then I'll know what to do from there.